Hi class, so today we are going to be learning about line, pattern, and color all in one piece of artwork, and I am so excited. So what we are going to need is we are going to need to get our trays of liquid watercolor, which is going to be on the round table on the right side of the classroom. And then we are also going to need a sponge from by the sink. Then we are also going to need a paintbrush, a little cup of water, and a black crayon. Okay, so today we are learning firstly about different types of lines. So when I think of different types of lines, I think of a straight line, and then I also think of what other type of lines. So we could do curly line. We could do zigzag. We want these to be big old lines, right? So they can take up a lot of space on our paper. And I'm going to add in another line right here just so I can make some balance. Okay, and then when I think of what other types of lines we can do, well, lines make stuff, right? So we can do circles, and when I'm doing this, I'm making a pattern. By repeating the same thing over and over again, that is what a pattern is. So the actual definition of a pattern is a regular arrangement of repeated elements. And our repeated element is our lines that we're making. So that's awesome. So then I'm going to finish up my paper. And then I'm going to let you guys get started on your patterns. I want to see all different types of lines that you can make. Remember, we're only using lines. We're not making other things. We're just doing our lines and patterns. Okay? And I want them to be big and consistent. All right. Okay, now that we are done with our lines, it is time to add some color to this. So I love all of your patterns that you've made. I know they're all going to be beautiful and exactly like what I showed you. Okay, so when we use liquid watercolors, we are going to color this thing in. And so when I use liquid watercolors, I want to get my brush all dry. So I'm going to dab it on my sponge to dry it off. That'll get it nice and dry. And then I am going to start off with red, because red is the first color in the rainbow. And it's the first color in the color order in our class also. So I'm going to get a little bit of red paint on my brush. I'm not stabbing it in there. I'm not mashing it. I'm just lightly dipping it. And then I'm going to paint up here at the top. And then when you run out, you get some more. And you see how you can still see the crayon and it's not covering that up? That's because the wax of the crayon repels the paint. Isn't that cool? Okay. So I'm going to start coloring that in. Then the next color of our rainbow. And I'm going to move on to the next pattern to start this. And when I change colors on my brush, do I want to stick my red paint in my orange paint? No, because then that will mix the colors, and we want our red to stay red and our orange to stay orange, and like that with every color. So I dip, when I'm done using a color, I dip it in my cup of water and I swirl it around. And then once I'm done, I'm going to dry it off on my sponge. Alright, now I'm ready to start on the next color. The next color is orange. Some of these colors, you can't tell what they are when you just look at them. Like this looks really dark, but it shows up red on the paper. So I have labeled all the colors for you guys, and if you have any questions, you can ask me which color's which. Okay? So then we have our orange. Orange is the next color on the color list. And when we're painting our orange, we want to get all up in there. And we want to stay in the lines of our pattern, or at least try our hardest to. So with our orange, I'm going to get it all over this curly pattern, and then I'm going to bring it down to the zigzag that I made. But your pattern might be different than mine. So it all depends on what your artwork looks like. Okay? I'm just going to keep doing this as fast as I can. Alright, I'm going to move on to the next color because I want you guys to be able to paint as much as possible. So, the next color in our rainbow is yellow. I love yellow. Okay. So yeah, then we're going to paint all this in down to here. And then, once I get about midway on my painting, I'm going to start with my green. Yeah, I want to do my green. Get that all in there. And then, I'm going to bring my green down to these little wavy lines. It's what we call a wavy line because it looks like a wave at the ocean. Okay, so then imagine all this is filled in with green. I'm trying to go fast so you guys can start painting. Then the next color is blue. Blue, blue, blue. Yeah, I want to get that in my wave. Woo. And when I'm using my paintbrush, I'm not mashing my paintbrush. I don't want to do this. When you see your paintbrush doing that, that's bad because that will ruin our paintbrushes. We want to be light. See how this is in a tip still? Yeah, that's what we want. We don't want Tippy's hair to get messed up, right? Okay. So then our last color is purple. And if you'll notice, I have these in order. So if you guys forget what order, you can just look. It goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And I have a chart on the wall over there too that you can look at. Purple. That's a bright purple. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. So this is what our finished piece of art will look like. Mine's still a little bit wet, but you can kind of see what it looks like. You can turn it different ways, and it just looks awesome with all these patterns and colors and lines, different types of lines. So that is what our finished product looks like, and I can't wait for you guys to do it so I can see what yours looks like. All right.